Hey there, it's Ruth Sherman, CEO and celebrity speech and media coach, but you don't have to be famous to work with me. You don't. President Trump achieved a major reset of his presidency when he delivered his speech to a joint session of Congress this week. And he did it in an age-old way through his presentation and his delivery skills. Now, I'm going to refer to my notes because I want to stay on track and make sure I give you what you need to take these skills, your skills, to the next level. Now, I don't care whether you like him or not. I don't care whether you voted for him or not. The only thing I care about is, by watching him, what can you take away that is going to add value for you as you go out and sell your products or your services and interact with your clients on any platform? The first thing that I look for anyway when I am watching presidents give addresses is, do they look like leaders? Do they show leadership? In other words, is what they're saying, is the message that they're delivering consistent with the way they're saying it? Is the way they're saying it consistent with what they're saying? In this speech, my assessment is that he failed more than he succeeded, but he succeeded just enough to make it a big deal. For example, since we all know he rarely sticks to a script, the fact that he pretty much did this time, he pretty much read from the teleprompter the entire time, that is a huge win for him. It's a huge win. Then the president dressed for the occasion. You know, he doesn't dress well for such a wealthy man. And I'm imagining that he has a tailor who makes all of his suits and so forth. I mean, that the suits, they're always too baggy. They don't seem to fit well. He's got that red tie that always is too long. This suit was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. And that tie was absolutely beautiful. It was that, beautiful blue tie. I don't know whether the suit itself was a very dark blue or black, but it fit well and it was buttoned and it made him look trim. And the man is not skinny, he's a big man, overweight even. So it really makes a difference. I'm thinking, and this is for all of us, dress and adornment, hugely important. When we look good, we feel good. Not only that, but the people who are looking to us for our leadership, they also feel more confident when a leader looks the way you expect them to. If I have a president who is going to stare down Vladimir Putin, I want somebody who looks like $1 million when he's doing it. And I think he achieved that really well this time. I hope to see more of that, actually. The speech itself, now we're talking about content, although I will say that this video, this e-zine, is not about content. I'm just focusing on delivery. But the content in general was much better written. It was more poetic. It was a much better written speech than the inaugural address, which I thought was very negative and just a bad speech and dumb. Actually dumb. It used a number of rhetorical devices that in the hands of a Reagan or Obama would have just sent those words and those paragraphs soaring, like what we love hearing. Yet, here's the problem. He didn't deliver it in a way that showed he was passionate about it. It's almost as if he doesn't quite know yet how to deliver a speech like that. He doesn't know how to make the most of the poetry and the rhetorical devices that were inherent or that were in the speech itself. We know, again, he bridles at using a teleprompter. Still, even though he's not great at using a teleprompter, this was a much better delivered speech than any of his previous teleprompter speeches. So again, check the box, a win. His speaking voice is not a great voice. For a male voice, I wouldn't look to it as a role model, gentlemen. It doesn't have a good speaking voice. It's a speaking voice we are all very familiar with, so we ignore that aspect of it, that it's not really a high quality speaking voice. But when he was delivering his words, it was rather flat. There was very little expression. It was even sing-song at times. And it came alive a couple of moments, during a couple of moments in the 60-minute speech. That's a long speech. It came alive when he was telling the Harley Davidson story, which was a great story. Clearly he enjoyed it, and he even went off script at that moment. He said something funny. I think it was that they had asked him if he wanted to take a ride, and he said, no thanks. And it let us look inside him a little bit, because you would think motorcycle riding is a really macho thing to do, right? It's a guy thing. It's manly men do. Get on motorcycles. They get on Harleys. That's from, like I said, macho guys. But and the president considers himself pretty macho, but not in this case. Not for him. So that was very interesting, I thought. The other time, of course, was when he was talking to the widow of the Navy SEAL who lost his life in the failed raid earlier in February. And it showed a bit of emotion and empathy that we don't see enough of from him. So we need to see more empathy. I don't know if he can do that in a way that is authentic, but is something that perhaps he can learn to do. I don't know. And just stepping back to humor for a minute, it would behoove him to use much more humor. The man does not laugh enough in public. He does especially self-deprecating or self-directed humor, which is better than self-deprecating humor. No need to put oneself down. But self-directed humor, understanding that life is full of surprises, full of absurdities. Things happen every day that are crazy. And they happen to all of us, and it's part of what makes us human. So the ability to laugh at yourself publicly is a huge thing that will connect him and make him more relatable to his, to the voters. He exhibited a somewhat more generosity and grace in this speech, and that was reflective of the grandeur and majesty of the moment. I mean, look where he was, the U.S. Capitol, in that beautiful room, that auditorium where Congress meets, with the balconies and all of the guests who are invited and who come to watch and be put there as props, right? And then all of the other symbolism. This is so laden with symbolism, as it has been since day one of the Republic. So I do have to say he exhibited more generosity and grace. Again, that's something he could ramp up, and I'm hopeful that he'll continue to deliver more of that type of thing. So just speaking very briefly about the words, because I know a lot of you are listening to the message and thinking, oh, God, he's just saying the same old thing, same old policy prescriptions that I don't like, right? That you don't like, that a lot of people don't like, but putting a nice dress on them, right? Dressing them up a little bit with presentation skills. So here's what you got to know. You got to know this, and I'll say this until I am blue in the face. It is a cardinal rule of communication. The best speakers understand this. If the way you look and sound contradicts what you say, people will believe the way you look and sound instead of what you say. That does not mean that what you say isn't important. I expect my clients to have some very important stuff to say, very important messages. But if you can deliver them with passion, like you really mean it, where you can make people feel something, and that's how you do it. That's how you make people feel, through delivery. Words themselves don't do it. Then you will connect better with your customers, just as President Trump connected better with the millions of people who were watching him, certainly with his base, but I am telling you, he got a good bump from that speech. Whether he'll keep it up or not, I don't know. That remains to be seen. Both Ronald Reagan and Barack Obama understood so well this cardinal rule of communication. They knew they were in a unique position to heal a divided country. They knew that it was their job to lift all of the people up. And I would argue that even Donald Trump's biggest fans want him to do that kind of thing. They want him to be the president of all the people. Again, you may not like him, you may not have voted for him, but this was a step forward for him as president of the United States and the leader of the free world. If you want to know more about how to move crowds, how to move arenas full of people, or how to increase your bottom line by the way you show up, hop on over to ruthsherman.com where you can download your complimentary gift. And also, please subscribe here